righty. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you're listening or watching us on YouTube around the world. We are here with the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks preview show. And what we're going to do today is preview all of the stakes races for tomorrow's Kentucky Oaks Day and take a quick look at what will be for the Kentucky Derby. Now, remember, we have our Kentucky Derby seminar tomorrow night here at the South Point in the Grand View Lounge at 6 o'clock. So our handicappers, Jonathan Hardoon and Jon Lindo, who are back on set with me, will be doing the in-depth Kentucky Derby seminar tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the Grand View Lounge here. And by the way, we were just notified today that not only will the Grand View Lounge be there live for you to come in and obviously see us there, but we're also going to be simulcasting that thing over this same network that you're watching now. That seminar will be here as well tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And, of course, on the South Point website, the general website, will be on there as well. But we invite you to come down because we'd love to see you here at the seminar tomorrow night. And, of course, on Saturday, we'll be doing the Kentucky Derby party up in the Grand Ballroom. The Kentucky Derby, of course, the doors open at 9 a.m., and after all the work we're done, we'll get to enjoy the 150th Kentucky Derby. But today, we have our Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks preview show, and we want to welcome all of you on YouTube, on the South Point Studios streaming network on YouTube. We hope you found us. For those of you who have not tried it yet, we hope you do it today. All right, gentlemen, I've got Jon Lindo, Jonathan Hardoon. They're doing double duty today. They were here in studio this morning. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. We're around the world, man. Ralph. We're around the world. There's people getting up while watching us here on YouTube, that's for sure. What have you seen today at the races at Churchill Downs as far as track biases or anything else that you can apply to maybe the racing in the next couple of days?
I think it's fair, Ralph. Excuse me. The times are fast. There was a 6 furlong race, 108, and changed today on the main track. Mm-hmm. Turf course, it looks like you don't want to come from left field, but you can pass horses out there.
Okay.
And I think you can run inside, outside on the grass. So right now, without the rain that's predicted for tomorrow, mm-hmm. It's a non-factor. I think it's just you're trying to find the best horse, and it's on a fair racetrack.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should play it as a fair track. Tomorrow, obviously, with the rain forecast at 88%, the chances are the rain's going to come. Mm-hmm. But until it comes, you just, handle things as it's supposed to be. And if you notice a bias after a couple of races with the rain, well, then you adjust on the fly.
Well, all I can say is so far today, we got a winner out of the show this morning, but it was by a whisker, Mr. Lindo.
They still pay you, Ralph. You got a terrific head bob. I had to watch that again, John, and see where the mirror is on that finish line.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, it was about 2 feet in front of the big furlong pole at the wire there, because at the furlong pole, the horse I picked
the
was
other
beat.
Bob got it. Yeah. No question about it.
So they took the picture at the right time.
Well, all I know, I can tell you this, whether it was right or wrong, I cashed my ticket already, so I'm okay with that. There is advanced wagering on the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. Obviously, the Kentucky Oaks will be shown tomorrow and Derby on Saturday. John, you've got the latest of the odds as far as that's concerned. Why don't you lead off with the Kentucky Derby, and while we're getting the update on the odds, we'll show the folks the Kentucky Derby field on the video.
Okay, Kentucky Derby odds. Let me go down to the rail, and we'll go from the rail to the outside. And on the inside, here we go. Number 1, Dornoch, currently 15-1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Sierra Leone, 6-1. Number 3, Mystic Dan, is 27-1. And then we'll go to number 4, Catching Freedom, is currently 9-1 for the Derby.
Okay.
Number 5, Catalytic, is 40-1. Number 6, Just Steel, that's the Dean Wayne Lucas horse, 33-1.
Uh-huh.
Number 7, Honor Marie, currently 17-1. Number 8, Just a Touch, 16-1. Number 9, Encino was scratched earlier this week. The first Japanese horse, number 10, T.O. Password, 60-1, 60-1. Number 11, Forever Young, the other Japanese horse, currently 8-1. Then we have Track Phantom, 12 to 1 for number 12, or excuse me, 52 to 1 for number 12.
Now, and by the way, you said 12 to 1 because you can see on the screen right now, folks, those were the opening morning line odds you're looking at. These are the current odds as the pari-mutuel pool has opened.
Right. So number 13, West Saratoga, is 31 to 1. Number 14, Endlessly, currently 52 to 1. Number 15, Domestic Product, 35 to 1. Number 6, Grand Mo the First, 61 to 1. And the reason those odds are all so high right now, number 17, Fierceness, is currently 8 to 5 to win the Kentucky Derby. Then you have number 18, Stronghold, 41 to 1. Number 19, Resilience, 28 to 1. Number 20, Society Man, 68 to 1. And Epic Ride, who drew in number 21, 61 to 1, Ralph.
Out of all those odds, I think the one that's most skewed right now has got to be Stronghold at 41 to 1. This horse won the Santa Anita Derby.
Well, I just think all the odds are skewed because in a 20-horse field to have an 8 to 5 shot, that really kind of changes things, don't you think, John?
Yeah, but how about Track Phantom? He's like 51 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like him, but that's a crazy price.
Jonathan, I heard this morning after the show, I heard in doing some work before I came back here, that somebody put a huge bet, a large bet on Fierceness that made the odds screwy. It wasn't a combination of a lot of bets. It was just one huge bet. And don't forget, it's early yet. I mean, we got
they'll move, but they're not going to move that much because they usually don't. You know, the money usually sticks pretty much to...
Well, and the betting public, sees these odds, and they kind of migrate to the hot horses, I guess, on the tote board.
Well, there'll be adjustments, too. Yeah. Like John said, whether you like, a horse or not, if you have a perceived value of 20 to 1 and you're getting 60 to 1, okay, now there's value.
If you
want to play something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes you think a little bit. Like I say, it's very early, but at least it gives you an idea of where the money's going.
Absolutely. Now, the Kentucky Oaks that is run tomorrow, they also have advanced wagering on the Kentucky Oaks. And before we get to that field, I want to remind everybody that the one horse, Tapit Jenna Lee, has been scratched. And so I don't know if she was scratched before the advanced betting started or not, but you'll get your money back if you already advanced wagered it. Right. So we'll start out with number 2, Jin Jin.
Jin Jin is currently 21 to 1. Number 3, Where's My Ring, 9 to 1, so getting a little money there.
Yeah.
Number 4, Regulatory Risk, currently 32 to 1. The current betting favorite for the Kentucky Oaks is number 5, Torpedo Anna, 2 to 1 right now.
That's Kenny McPig's horse, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Number 6, Lemon Muffin, 16 to 1. Number 7, Fiona's Magic, 40 to 1. Number 8, Tarifa, that's the Godolphin horse, 7 to 1. Then number 9, Everlyn, 44 to 1.
Ooh.
Number 10, Into Champagne, 37 to 1. Number 11, Ways and Means, 8 to 1. Number 12, Power Squeeze, 11 to 1. Number 13, Just FYI, that's the Eclipse Champion 2-year-old, currently 5 to 1. Then you have Leslie's Rose at number 14 is 7 to 1. Our Pretty Woman draws into the race with the scratch of the 1. So Our Pretty Woman, number 15, currently 40 to 1. And trying to get in right now, waiting for a scratch tomorrow, hopefully number 16, Candied, is currently 42 to 1.
That's Todd Pletcher's horse. Now, we want to remind everybody, again, watching this on the screen, the odds to the right of the screen tells you that those were the opening odds. Those were the morning line odds set by the odds maker, and so you can see a lot of the differences there. Don't think that really the early betting on the Kentucky Oaks really points to anything because Anna was supposed to be the favorite anyhow.
Yeah, but 2 to 1 is a crazy price, to be honest with you. I mean, Ways and Means is up there at 8 to 1.
Yeah, nice. Huh?
Can we freeze it now?
It's a really good group of fillies this year.
It is.
Just about every big filly, except for the Bob Baffert horses, have made the dance this year.
Yeah, all the fillies that won the major preps for this thing are there.
Right. There's exactly. And, in years past, especially the last couple of years, there's always been a hot filly. Like, Who's Your Filly was the hot horse a couple of years ago. But there's no horse like that this year, I don't think. And it's kind of a wide open race. And listen, you want to take 2 to 1 in that race? Go ahead. But not
I know you're
me.
not.
Well, and I'm not taking 8 to 5 on Fierceness either. That doesn't mean you can't win.
They could certainly win. They absolutely
it's winning out
could
without my
certainly
money,
win.
that's
But
for
this
sure.
is the idea is to try to get some value, especially on days like tomorrow and Saturday.
Absolutely.
You get a couple of days like this a year where you get big fields and really terrific horses. Take advantage.
Now, I want to remind everybody on the show right now that we're going to go over the stakes races for the Kentucky Oaks. But coming up on the show today, we have Dwayne Carlucci, who is the Rampart book sports director there. And he's got a party going on over his place, too. And then, of course, our guys here, Vinny Muliolo and Chris Andrews, of course, the odds makers here for the sports. But I got to tell you, Chris was the only one that picked the winner of the Kentucky Derby on our show last year. So they'll be with us. And then, of course, later on, we're going to have Alex White. She's a part of the Sports by the Book, and I wanted a lady's view of how this race might go. And we have via satellite, of course, will be Jerry Jackowitz, Rich Ang, and Dave Valento, the track phantom, who that horse is named after.
57-1, mind you.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. And maybe Dave is already going out making a bet on him. I'm not sure.
He may not be here. He's busy betting, but...
All right. So let's get started with as the races will roll out, the stakes races, as they will roll out tomorrow on the big Kentucky Oaks Day. 7 stakes races, and we begin with a $1 million, the Grade 1 $1 million La Troienne at a mile and 16th for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up with a field of 7. And the 6-5 favorite there is Idiomatic with Florent Garreau.
Go ahead, John.
Well, believe me, I'm the last guy that's going to pick a 6-5 shot. But Idiomatic is really a legitimate horse. I mean, she has 12 career starts. She's never missed the board. She's 1-for-1 over a wet track if the track comes up sloppy. Mm-hmm. She's training very, very well. And I just think that she really has this field over a barrel. Not only that, I think she's going to be on or near the lead, and there doesn't really appear to be much early speed in this race, and I think she has a big edge over this field.
I tell you what, Ralph, if you look at Idiomatic tomorrow, she's huge.
Yeah,
she's a big mare.
She's an Amazon, yeah. And if she gets on the lead, she'll gallop them to death. If you're trying to bet against her, you have to root the Zajira, number 6, can go with her because she does have some speed. You've got 2 champions in here. Idiomatic was the champion older filly, dirt filly, and Pretty Mischievous was the 3-year-old dirt champion. And I'm going to take a little chance with Pretty Mischievous. I thought she was a tired filly at the end of the year. She fought every single fight, and she runs well fresh. She likes Churchill Downs. She won the Oaks there last year.
Yes, she did, yeah.
And she'll be the one sitting behind those 2 fillies, and if coming off a layoff gets to those leaders a little bit, maybe she can pick up Idiomatic.
All right, well, that starts. They start out with a Grade 1 $1 million race and the 7 consecutive stakes races tomorrow. And, John, you were talking today about the betting menu at Churchill Downs where they're putting in extra pick 4s and pick 5s. I'm sure these will be covered. These races will be, too.
Well, just real quick, the pick 5s tomorrow, races 1 through 5, 3 through 7, 5 through 9, 7 through 11, and 9 through 13. So every race is covered in some type of rolling bet tomorrow.
Well, I could say is when I bet the pick 5s, if I single a horse in the first of the pick 5 races and I blow, at least I got a couple of more pick 5s to play for the day, and certainly the pick 4s that'll follow that. That's
exactly.
Sure. All right, next is the 6th race, the $400,000 Grade 3 Unbridled Sidney Stakes. This is scheduled for 5.5 furlongs on the turf for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up. What do you think about these races, the stakes races at least, gentlemen, staying on the turf even though it might rain hard?
Well, they're going to do everything to keep the races on the grass. First of all, it has a lot to do with their future or breeding. You want to win Grade 1s on days like today.
Yeah.
So they're going to do it. The track's going to do everything they possibly can. We have no idea how much it's going to rain, if it's going to rain. Right. Obviously, 80% chances are it's going to rain. But we don't know how much, and we don't know how it's going to really be.
John, you think it'll take a lot to get it off?
The graded stakes races, they really are going to do what they can to keep them on. And I've got to think that turf at least will handle a little bit of rain. So they've been protecting it, so let's see.
However, we know the footing won't be firm, so that's not going to help any of the American horses, certainly the horses that race that might be in these races in the turf from the West Coast, because they just don't, they travel only on fast turf courses. But it might help out some of the ones that are coming from over the pond.
You want to?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go to Unbridled Sidney.
I tell you what, you say that, and I like the California horse in this race, number 10, Tony Ann. She won on a really soggy Keeneland turf course last year. Became a personal friend of mine. We cashed all kinds of tickets when she beat Caravel that day. The Breeders' Cup, she wasn't disgraced. She got beat 3 lengths in the Breeders' Cup. Comes back fresh. Flavien Prat rode her to that win at Keeneland. He knows her. Outside post, come out running a little bit and try and settle into a spot and finish. We're going to find out how good this Louisiana bred is that's in this race. And that's the trick here. Number 2, Overcharged, is running Breeders' Cup-like numbers, beating up on Louisiana breds at Fairgrounds. Mm-hmm. It's a different ball game here, but she's fast, and she's fast enough on numbers to win. We're just going to find out where the class is there. So that's the race to me, Overcharged in front, and here comes Flavien Prat. And like I say, this filly owes me no money. So
got a different opinion there, John?
No, I happen to like Overcharged a lot. I know she's been running in Fairgrounds. That trainer won the training title, I believe. Shane Wilson did a terrific job at Fairgrounds this year. But listen, the horse is 3 for 3 at the distance, a win and a second in her races at Churchill. She's breaking from the inside, so she's not going to lose any ground, and she should really work out a terrific trip. If you really get 7-2, I think that's more than a fair price.
All right, you got it. We move along. We've got a lot to do today. So the $750,000 Grade 2 Alysheba at 1 mile and 16th for 4-year-olds and up on the main is the 7th race. 10 go to the post in this one. Looks like the first mission at 8-5 in the morning line is the horse to beat with Florent Garreau. Jonathan?
Yeah, no question about it. This is another horse from the Cox barn that's doing very, very well. Cox is loaded for a big day. He's got a bunch of horses entered, and they're really good horses. Listen, unfortunately, it's the favorite, but you got to find maybe a price horse underneath, and I think number 6, Tumba Rumba, will complete my exacta there. He's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. Louis Sayers for Brian Lynch. But first mission's the horse to beat. I'd play a cold exacta to number 6, Tumba Rumba.
All right, that's a 3-6 cold exacta. No little reverse there, just in case?
A little bit.
Okay, all right. John?
With all due respect to horses like Senior Buscador, who won the Saudi Cup, and some of the other older horses, that division's ripe for the taking. And I really think First Mission has a chance to be right at the top of the older horses by the end of the year. Uh-huh. He looked like he was his old self last time. The only question is he's never raced on a wet track. If he handles it, and most horses don't seem to lose their form with the Churchill Downs track when it comes up wet. Yeah, I think he wins. He's a single to me. I'll play 2 exactas, the 3 over the 1 Money Supply and the 10 Trademark, who loves Churchill Downs. So the 3 over the 110, and in the rolling bets, I'm just going to single the 3.
Breeding, is he bred to like a little bit off track there?
Well, he's by Street Sense, so he ought to love it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and
that'll work.
Yeah, out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare, he ought to handle it just fine.
That'll work fine. The $400,000 Grade 3 Modesty is the 8th race on the card. This, again, scheduled on the turf course at 1 mile and 1/8 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, and a field of 12 there. This looks like a little bit more wide-open affair.
Yeah, I'd be shopping for a price here. The horse that I'd be interested in is the one horse, Fast as Flight, Martin Drexler, who does a terrific job in Canada, and he had a terrific meet at Gulfstream this year, takes over the training, and I think this horse has a shot of upsetting. He's listed at 10-1 on the morning line. Again, Cox here has the 4 Heavenly Sunday, who could certainly win, but I would much rather take a shot with the price horse.
This race has chaos written all over it. I will.
Is this the all button?
I'll probably buy this race. I'm not going to get beat in this race. Heavenly Sunday will run here. She's entered back on Saturday in the Distaff Turf Mile. She's going to scratch there. She's running tomorrow. Uh-huh. She's going to make the lead, and if they leave her alone long enough, I'm not sure if she gets the 1 mile and 8. That's the only question for me. I like Surprisingly. This is a filly that was purchased at auction by Mike Rapoli last year after the racing season for $1.1 million. I forget how much. It was 7 figures. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
What's the difference? A few bucks in between friends.
Ran great,
especially with Rapoli.
Yeah, in the Pegasus World Cup filly mare turf, she got beat a neck and ran second again last time in the Orchid. She likes to hang a little bit, which scares me, but she's good right now, and I think she's the filly to beat. But I'm going to hit the all box. I'm not going to get beat in this race.
Okay, gents, we got taking a look at that race. The 9th race, $600,000 Grade 2, 8 bells. 3-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs. The fillies that just didn't quite to make the cut to get into the Kentucky Oaks, and it's a full field there of 12. And again, the morning line favorite 3-1. That's kind of wide open.
The problem with the morning line favorite, who's 3-1, the Brad Cox horse, Denim and Pearls, she may be coming back very close. She ran just a couple of weeks ago, and she ran by far the best figure of her career. She has a good chance to react. I like the other Cox horse in the race, Impel. Yeah, I actually have a friend that wanted to bet this horse in the Derby.
Yeah,
and
that was
found
me, a wise guy.
Found out it was a
what
filly.
a wise guy here. You know, all I did was turn on the TV. I saw this horse just bottom out the field, and the jock was just sitting there. And I said, you know, I got to find out this horse is going to the Derby. I asked him because, you know, it was Cox's horse, and he goes, no, I don't think he's going to make that. By the way.
No, I asked for you. I said, what do you think? Well, we're going to go to I'd like to, but she's missing something.
Well,
that
not,
makes her
but
not
let me tell you
eligible.
something. There's been 3 fillies that have won the Kentucky Derby, so it wasn't that far off.
But not since they started points. That's the problem.
All right. Go ahead, guys.
Anyway, I think Compelled has a shot here. I really do, and I think she's the better of the 2 Cox horses.
Okay, good.
I agree with John. I think Brad Cox is going to win the race, and I think Impel's the right one. I like her cutting back to 7 furlongs off of a very deep Keeneland track. She'll be fit. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if he leaves her in the race, I wouldn't be surprised if he scratched one of the 2 just so they wouldn't. But if they both go, I think Impel's the better filly. So I'm gonna single her around the all in the middle there and try and keep going this way.
Excuse me, guys. So, you know, my observation wasn't that far off, was it? Okay.
Well, we'll tell you after this race
24
tomorrow.
hours too early, that's all. Right. You wanted it running on Saturday, not
that's
Friday.
All right, the $600,000 Grade 2 Edgewood for 3-year-old fillies at a mile and 16th on that turf course again. Overflow entries there. 14 are entered in the race. We'll get some scratches, I'm sure. But Hard to Justify is the 2-1 favorite there. Of course, an offspring of Justify with Flavien Prat. John?
I tell you what, the way she won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, she was all heart. She just stuck her neck in front. She wouldn't let anybody by. Mm-hmm. She does the same thing in workouts in the morning. She did it before. This is a filly that wants to beat you. And I'm going to assume that she's dead fit because Chad Brown wouldn't run her. This is a tough spot to come back off a layoff. Mm-hmm. I think if she's right and she's head and head with somebody at the 8th pole, they're not going to get by her. So I like her. The filly with the big late kick is Buku, who is, what number is she on the program?
4.
The 4. She's a nice filly, too. And if they go too fast, she's the one I would look for late. But I think it's one of those 2. But I'm just a fan of Hard to Justify. I want to see her come back as good as she left last year.
You know what's interesting about Hard to Justify? The brown horse, usually his horses get hammered. They get bet off the board. Right. This horse went off 9-1 last time, 7-1 the time before, and she's 3 for 3. But I think Buko is the horse. This is the now horse. This horse is run. This horse ran super last time out. The race sets up well for her, and I think she's going to be ultra tough. Philip Bauer does a terrific job. I like number 4, Buka.
All right, now we're going to get to the big race of the day, the $1,500,000 Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks, a mile and 1/8, 3-year-old fillies. We have the scratch of number 1, Tappet Jana Lee. That brings in the 15-horse, Our Pretty Woman. This is a deep field of very talented fillies, but let me give you some trends. Favored fillies with early speed. 9 out of the past 20 Kentucky Oaks winners were racing either first or second place after the opening half mile, and 14 of the past 20 winners within 3.5 lengths of that leader. Deep closing winners, not so much. You remember Secret Oath doing it from the midfield, and Able Talisman, Princess of Silmar, Blind Luck, and Lemon Forever. But that's the only ones that really came from off of it. Your guys, Todd Pletcher and Brad Cox, they are formidable trainers for this race. Pletcher has won 4 Oaks wins, and Cox has won twice. So keep an eye on their horses. And as far as where these fillies come from in performing in this race, exactly half of the past 20 Kentucky Oaks winners raced at the fairgrounds during the winter. And so you got to think about that when you're talking about this race. And as far as post positions, post 10 and wider are favorable in this race, believe it or not. And so just some of the post 2, 1 and 2 are detrimental, like it is, of course, in the Kentucky Derby. But those are some of the trends of the last 20 Kentucky Oaks. So, gentlemen, go at it.
Well, I love the number 11 horse in here, Ways and Means. This filly has 3 starts. She ran twice as a 2-year-old, and both of those figures were huge. She came back, made her first start as a 3-year-old, and also ran a huge figure. You're telling me outside posts are good here? Well, she's got the 11 posts. Chad Brown, I don't know how many horses he's even started in these kind of races because most of his career he's been a turf trainer and known for having great turf horses.
Sure.
This year, he's loaded. He's got, Sierra Leone in the Derby, and he's got Ways and Means in the Oaks. And I I don't know if he's going to win Saturday, but I know this horse will win tomorrow.
Will win tomorrow. Did I hear you say that?
You heard it.
Woof. Man.
And what's the 11 to 1
folks,
right now?
It's been nice talking to all you folks. Have a good time.
We got to go to the window.
Yeah, we're going now. John, do you have maybe another view of this?
Yeah, I like Ways and Means.
There you go.
Yeah, I tell you what, she had 2 miserable trips. So last year in her last start, clipped heels, almost went down, should have won at Saratoga, had to have an ankle surgery because of what happened. Mm-hmm. Came back last time at Gulfstream Park, got shut off into the first turn, and then a 10-pound apprentice moving early down the backstretch, and she got caught at the wire. If she gets any kind of trip, I don't know how good she is because she's already showed she's really good.
Sure.
I'd like to see her get a clean trip. There's a lot of speed in here. The pace is going to be fast. I think she can settle in just behind there. And it's just patience. Just sit and wait on this filly. They're going to come back to her. So I love Ways and Means. I think she's the right filly. And I tell you, I like just FYI to get in the number. I don't like post 13 because she's going to get caught wide because she doesn't have enough speed to clear. And with the speed drawn to her outside and our Pretty Woman, they're going to make those horses go. So you're going to have to work out a trip, but I think Ways and Means, let's get a clean trip finally and see how good she is.
And let's hope she's near the 8-1 she is as we speak. So yeah. I doubt it, but
well, not with you guys giving them the stamp of approval here. My goodness sakes, she might wind up being the favorite in this
8-5.
race. Yeah. In any case, guys, I want to thank you so much. You've done, you're not done, but you guys have done double duty this morning and today. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and when we come back after the break, we're going to have some fun with the bookmaker side of this whole situation. So everybody out there, don't go away. We're just getting started on the Kentucky Oaks Kentucky Derby special preview show.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the Racebook. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
All right, back on our Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks special here at the South Point Studios, just for you folks. And don't forget, we got a lot of great stuff going on. We're just starting to get started with all of the great racing about to happen. But this is going to be a fun segment because I dragged in the bookmakers for their side of the story. And I know one of these bookmakers, you guys got to have sausage and pepper out here somewhere. We got all Dagos here except for one Greek.
We got one Greek.
One Greek. That's all right. That's all right. And so we'll start over here. Dwayne Colucci, you are, of course, the manager, the sports and racebook manager over the Rampart. You guys are having some good stuff over there, too.
Yeah, definitely, Ralph. We have a hat contest that is very similar to South Point here. I know they have one here. Mm-hmm. And also, if you make a $50 wager on Saturday on the Derby, I will buy you lunch. I will give you a voucher for the Clubhouse Deli with your choice of chicken fingers, hot dogs, or burgers. So we also have the seminar, Bob Ike, Jay Privman this year. It's going to be an exciting time, and we really pumped the Derby, very similar to South Point. You know, we're in Summerlin, so we're on the other neck of the
Sure,
woods,
absolutely,
and we get a great crowd. Ralph.
And you guys do a great job over there too. That's for sure. Kind of a bookending the Las Vegas, widening Las Vegas Valley with the South Point here and the Rampart over there. Here's the man in the middle, the only guy on any one of my shows last year that picked the Kentucky Derby winner. Of course, the sports book director here at the South Point, Chris Andrews. Chris, good morning.
Well,
Good
thanks.
afternoon.
Yeah, I've been living off that for 364 days now. So, it was a nice win, though, no doubt about it.
Yeah, well,
So
I'm
hope I
living
can
off of
repeat it
Senor
again.
Buscador. I'm going to milk that to the end as well. So, like you, that's for sure. And to my right, your left probably, is Vinny Muliolo, who is the one of the odds makers here for sure. And Vinny, I know that I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the bookmaker side of the Kentucky Derby and the big races before we got pari-mutuel wagering. And I think you might have a story that prompted this town getting the pari-mutuel wagering approved.
1988, Ralph. Winning colors. Too soon. Let me just say this, Ralph. So you brought up the pre-pari-mutuel days here in Nevada. And again, Nevada, back at that time and up until 1991, late 91, early 92, we booked horse races just like we booked ball games. There was, and depending on the property, you paid full track odds up to X amount. At the time, I was at Caesar's Palace, so we had higher limits. And I think we paid full track odds up to the first, I think it was 500 on the whips and then 200, the first 200 on the exotics. You mentioned winning colors. We also had a future book that year, and winning colors was dependent on where you shot. I think we used probably, and I think Chrissy and I were chatting about it before, it was right around 100 to 1, maybe 125 to 1. And again, those were fixed odds. What you got at the time of that wager was what was honored. So, that was we got carried out on that one. And I can tell you this, that accelerated the move to get pari-mutuel available in the state of Nevada. And I know Chrissy will have some he's got a recollection of that because he was up north at Cal Neva at the time. Kaluch was on the other side of the counter and was one of the people that punished us. So,
Yes.
that was a good. Thanks for bringing that up, Ralph. I'll see you later. I'm going to go now.
But I can tell you for sure. Are you still paying that debt off? Are you there?
Yes, absolutely. Still right. That and the fridge Super Bowl prop. Why not?
Yeah, sure. That's it. Anyhow, we get to catch you once in a while.
That's right. That's okay.
But I remember I was here in town, and I was starting to hear rumors about winning colors being bet a lot in the Tijuana future book down there in New Mexico. Now, winning colors, trained by D. Wayne Lucas, won the Santa Anita Oaks that year at Santa Anita. They did not change the odds down in Mexico after that race. She comes back and wins the Santa Anita Derby, and they didn't change the odds again. So they got murdered down there, and I don't know where those guys are at, but I'm sure it's near a rock somewhere in Mexico. But
I think there are a
really
few
did
Mexican bookmakers that were no longer in Mexico
Chris?
after those two races.
Well, I had a thing because we were booking.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody locally remembers North Swanson, but North Swanson was a good friend of Bob Martin, and he was probably the number one bookmaker in northern Nevada. And North was a good friend of mine, and he and I put together the future book every year. And I always let my people, I said, whatever the best price was, you can have that.
Yeah.
Well, I had her 100 to 1. I don't think I had her 125 to 1. When she won the Oaks, I'm thinking, she's,
Yeah, well, she's going to stay she's going to stay with the Oaks,
Yeah,
right?
why
You
not?
didn't think she was going to the
And then
Derby.
she wins the Santa Anita Derby, and
Yeah,
oh my
oops.
God, I'm in trouble. So I had all these women who they wanted to bet the girl to beat the boys, and I always said, you could have like your regular bet. And all these girls that were $2 bettors, suddenly they were $20 bettors. All the $20 bettors were suddenly $100 bettors. Oh, and by the way, my mother wants a bet. Can she make my grandmother, my aunt? I mean, it was one of those deals. And then, by the way, the day of the race, I think she went off the second choice. Was
I think she paid
49er the favorite?
Yeah, 49er was
49er.
almost caught her. You almost got off the hook.
Oh, coming down the stretch, I was rooting so hard for 49er.
3 jumps after the wire, he was the winner.
And but we got carried out, and we weren't Caesar's Palace. We won, we lost well into 6 figures.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the call the next day. What happened?
What happened?
I said, well, where do you want me to start? That was still the worst beat. I mean, we've lost. I booked horses for a long time, and it's clearly the worst beat I've ever had.
I know it. It was a universal. That was the worst beat ever.
Bad.
But that did, I guess, prompt you guys to start negotiating for pari-mutuel.
Well, there were 3 properties at the time, actually 4, because Circus came out. So Caesar's Palace at the time, the Las Vegas Hilton, which is now the Westgate, and the other was I mentioned Circus, and then Bally's. Went to the Nevada legislature at first, and then legislation had to be passed, and then there was a regulation that had to follow, which still exists today, Regulation 26A, which allowed for a pari-mutuel wagering to begin. But I mean, you have to remember this. I mean, wherever you were, whether it was up north or down here in Las Vegas or everywhere in between, there were some decisions on horse races that were bigger than NFL games. So when you're booking races like that, and you've got particularly in a place, in our case, where we had a very high end casino clientele, table game clientele, you had to extend some pretty good limits. So, but you know what, it worked out. It worked out good. It was a great lesson. And just another example of a good chapter in the forthcoming books.
It was a good chapter for us players on the other side of that.
Yes,
and I won't even ask you how much money you won on it.
I did all right.
Yeah,
I was more of a 49er guy, though. I'll be honest with you. I started tapping out on Winning Colors when she ran against Personal Ensign the following years.
Yeah.
And I suffered my lumps there. I needed her in the Distaff and the Mesquite Mile. I remember the closed at Personal Ensign, and I was at Belmont Park that day. That was just a phenomenal filly, but Winning Colors was tremendous as well.
Yeah, she was.
Well, I had Personal Ensign in the Breeders' Cup,
Yes,
so
you did.
I didn't get even. But coming down the stretch, I never thought she could make it. And she made it by a nose. Right at the
that
end.
Breeders' Cup that year, I was there. I was working into Kentucky at Turfway, and we got our credentials, and we went there. And it was a miserable day at the Breeders' Cup at Churchill.
It was a
Downs.
Churchill, yeah.
So they were kind enough to give us a nice box right at the finish line because nobody wanted to be outside.
Wow.
It wasn't like we were getting this VIP treatment. Nobody wanted to be out there. Go ahead, go sit in there. Bring your friends, too. It's freezing. It's raining. But I'll never forget that. I saw that race, and I thought to myself, did she get up? It was amazing. It really was amazing.
By the way, just real quick, I won the biggest horse race of my life that day when Alysheba won.
Yeah.
I had him in the future book at 9-2. I'm thinking 9-2. If he's in Kentucky, he's going to be 6-5.
Oh yeah.
So.
He was. That was a great. That was the Breeders' Cup. They labeled in the dark.
Yeah.
Right.
So you really only saw it at the finish, anyhow. All right, gentlemen. Dwayne, we're going to start with you. A thought on the Kentucky Derby?
The Derby, I'll be honest with you, Ralph. It looks wide open, but really not wide open. If Fierceness gets the trip and runs his race, he's going to be very difficult to beat, in my opinion. I just think that, that prep race in the Florida Derby was tremendous. The Ragozin numbers are really nice. The horse has, a push button, technically, but hasn't been working all that well. You're seeing Sierra Leone looks tremendous on the track this week leading up to the race. But I think it's very difficult for a horse like that to navigate. It's good that he's in post 2, Sierra Leone, because he's going to be towards the rear and you don't have to cut across. And I think the 16 will actually favor Fierceness. So, this is a very, very difficult race to handicap, in my opinion. But, I definitely think that the Japanese horse has a chance this year. Even though, the Dubai Jinx is there, the numbers and the speed are tremendous. And, this horse won $1.5 million this year already, winning in Saudi Arabia as well as
Dubai,
winning, in Maidan. So we may be able to upset the favorite. But if Fierceness, Rapoli is just a tremendous owner, and he's great for the game, in my opinion. I think he's an advocate. He's out there, he's battling with people on social media, but he stands up for what's right. And I think he has an excellent chance. Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez is the legend. We know that. If he can navigate the right trip, they're going to have to catch him that last 16th, and it's going to be difficult.
Well, two things. Rapoli is definitely owed one.
Yes.
He is owed one by, mother luck there. And secondly, The Japanese horse you're talking about is Forever Young, not the other one.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
All right, we're going to save Chris for last because he actually picked the winner last year.
Yes, he did.
Yes,
And
so
as he
go ahead.
indicated, he's living off of that. I mean, like I'm living off of the other reference you made on the sausage and peppers for the last
That's
year.
right.
We don't have a sausage and pepper horse in the race, but
No.
I'll tell you, Sierra Leone. I like Sierra. You know, Ralph, the wild card in the Derby, right? Or the great equalizer, a lot of times is the size of the field, right? And so sometimes though, I think we look at the size of the field kind of negates really good horses too, right? In this case, you've got Sierra Leone in the 2 and Fierceness all the way on the outside. I don't know. I think the jocks know this. And I think that could benefit them too, depending on the trip. Maybe there's a little bit less traffic, particularly from the outside.
Sure.
So for me, I've got to use both favorites. Sierra Leone on top for me, added the blinkers a couple of races back and responded to them quite well. A strong late kick, and I know a lot of times that gets overrated as well. You still have to pay attention to the horse, right? And the connection. So I think those two are good, but you want to add some prices too, particularly in, let's say, the exactas.
Sure.
I mean, we're going to fill out tries and things like that. But I also like Catching Freedom. Brad Cox and Flavian Pratt, 2 trips over the track as a 2-year-old, and the buyers improved every race. I mean, I also look at that. I take that into consideration. A horse that is improving and doing some good things. Another horse at a price here with breeding. Look at Bloodlines, right? Mm-hmm. You got a horse in the 8, Just a Touch, with both with Justify and Tap It in the Bloodlines.
That's
strong. I mean, can you really overlook that totally? I don't think so, particularly when you're looking at exotics. Sure. Again, Brad Cox and Florent Giroux there. And then another horse here that I think is going to be at a price and I think could round out the exotics, and this is going to go against a lot of conventional thinking and wisdom too. The 14, Endlessly. I know that the horse is probably best on the turf, is run on the synthetics too, but maybe this is a race again given this field. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think for a price here, I got to use this one
that's
to fill
okay
out
by me.
out some exotics.
I want some prices here. I got to get a I want to cash no chalks. What about you, Mr. Kentucky Derby winner from last year?
Yeah, I've been looking at this race and I've been looking at these horses really for months, and I know Fierceness has a few flaws, and he doesn't always show up, and when things go bad, I don't know if he quits. I hate to use that word, but he looks like he lets others get the best from him. Mm-hmm. Still, I think he's the best horse. I did learn a lesson, Ralph, because I'm like you. I play horses whenever I can.
Sure.
If I like a favorite in a big field, I usually wheel him in the 2-hole and hope somebody. I learned my lesson because when Epicenter, who I loved, I know a $5 wheel would have been $95. Would have come back 10,000. What am I going to do with another 10,000? Oh, wow. But anyway, I learned my lesson now, and so I'm going to wheel Fierceness in the 2-hole, and hope he runs second to who knows who.
Randomness, yeah.
But I'm going to play him. I don't know if I'm going to play him to win for a straight bet. Probably not. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to play him in an exacta, with Catching Freedom and Sierra Leone, and I might have a small wheel with him on top. And again, hoping one of the big prices come in second. I'm not a big trifecta player, but I might throw something in on the trifecta on this race. I'm just going to kind of see how things shape up. But we just I talked to a guy who knows a guy, said that really he's not working that well in the morning, but they like the way he looks, and
yeah, well, good. This is not a horse show.
No, yeah, it's not a beauty contest. I always say
he's not going to get a blue ribbon for the way he looks.
Yeah,
he needs to get red roses in the winter.
Needs to get the red roses. Yeah, so I'm gonna wheel him in the 2-hole. Hope he runs second to Lord knows who. But I am gonna have some exactas with and I think Catching Freedom is a horse that I've watched for a while. A friend of mine on Twitter, QC, the quant coach,
right?
He raced the Dam, Catch My Drift, and so we've been kind of looking at that horse. This is the the son of Catch My Drift.
Right, right.
So I've been looking at him for a while, but he's a closer, and I'm not particularly crazy about closers in this race. But of course, Rich Strike came from the clouds, and it does happen occasionally. So that at this point in time, that looks like my strategy.
All right. Well, good enough. Now listen, I know we're running a little bit over, but it doesn't matter because we're having a good time.
We have our own show.
Yeah, that's right. We're having a good time.
I know the guy who has charge of the studio.
A thought, real quick, on the Kentucky Oaks tomorrow. If you guys had taken a look at that.
Where's my ring? I'm going to take a shot with Lescano and Brickenhoff. Love the race. Gazelle, I believe it was.
Uh-huh.
It just came to New York and crushed. I think, she could sit a trip. I definitely respect the two-man sitting over there. They're giving out this horse, this Chad Brown horse. I kind of thought the horse was short last time. I didn't expect the horse that came from Tampa, or Centeno came from Tampa and caught the horse on the line.
Yeah.
I had a big bet on Irad that day on Ways and Means, but, maybe second time now she might be ready. But I'm going to take a shot with Lescano and Brickenhoff.
All right, good. Now, before we let you guys go, and I'll get to Chris and Vinny in a moment, again, what's going on at Rampart?
We're going to have a tremendous day on the first Saturday in May, as always. Beautiful hat contest. Like I said, $50 wager. I buy you lunch, drink specials, mint juleps all over the place. And Friday at 6 p.m., myself, Bob Ike, Jay Privman, we're going to be handicapping and having a tremendous seminar, 6 p.m. at the Cascade Lounge, Rampart Casino.
Now, Chris, he's pulling out a winning colors type of deal there. There might be a lot of people showing up for that lunch and all that other stuff for that $50.
Listen, he runs a great store over there. He really does, and I'm very happy for him. And he runs his own store for the horses, and he does a great job. And I'm glad to have him as a partner in the
no
sport.
question about that.
Nothing could be better.
If you're up in that area, you got to go there. That's for sure. Now, before I get your pick for the Kentucky Oaks, you're doing matchups.
I got some matchups up there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the sheet with the opening odds. Man, they rattled my board pretty
Yeah,
good,
they did.
Ralph.
They
I
already got to you, huh?
Yeah. Woo. I hope these guys over here come and take a look and maybe find some bargains.
Okay, and you got, it looks like about 10 of them there, don't you?
9.
9. Okay,
Yeah.
9 matchups. And then the matchup, folks, is horse for horse, no matter where they finish in the race. All you got to do is beat the other horse.
It could be 18th and 19th.
Yes.
God bless.
All right, what do you think of the Oaks?
All right, I got a long shot. Well, I got the winner already from those two guys.
Yeah,
so I'm not worried about that.
He said he guaranteed it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Okay, all right.
No, anyway, I got a horse I like, Gin, the 2 horse. It's Brad Cox's horse, Florent Giroux, 30-1 in the morning line. And I'm going to probably use a similar strategy that I said in the
With
Derby.
the wheel deal?
I'm going to wheel it.
Yeah.
Listen, I got to play it on top just in case.
Right.
But I'm going to wheel it in second. And again, this is a horse I might put in some trifectas, and I'm not usually a trifecta player, but I want to look at it. She's in the money 6 or 7 times. The one time she was out, the first time she ran in a graded race, and she ran 5th, not great, but not horrible either. But I think she likes to close. So I think there might be a chance of her picking up tired horses in the stretch. Can she win? That's going to be tough. But I think she got a big shot to get a piece of the purse.
Hey,
so I'm going to play
a
her
trip,
somewhere.
You never know.
Yeah, listen, you got Giroux and Cox. I mean, it's great connections.
Sure.
An unbelievable price. She's going to have to get lucky, Ralph, like all of us in many walks of life.
It doesn't matter what we do and what we pick and how hard we try and Ouija boards and everything else, all the handicapping and stats. When they open the gate, the last thing you need is luck.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
All right, Mr. Vinny.
Well, you know how we oftentimes, especially on Derby Day and even tomorrow, leading up to it, you always have, I bet my kids' names, I bet the birthdays and everything like that. Let me just tell you this: I got to go home tomorrow night. If you think I'm going to go home and not have a ticket on Leslie's Rose, Leslie's my wife's name, then I'll be. Of course, you got to get me a room here.
Yeah.
So.
It won't be the first time.
It won't be the first time, and it won't be the last time either. No matter what Leslie's Rose does, but I love the way she came out of the Ashland. You've got Irad, or you got one of the best jocks, maybe the best jock in the country, if not the world, Pletcher. So I like Leslie's Rose.
Oh, cool.
But I also like John's pick, Ways and Means. So I'm going to wheel those two with the 8. Tapia and the 14 and also Torpedo Anna. Throw her
Oh,
in
geez,
my
thank
deep
you so much.
exotics.
All you guys kept talking
Okay.
and talking and talking. I like the Rapida Anna, and
Okay.
nobody ever mentioned this horse.
I did,
yeah.
Ralph.
Oh,
I
yeah,
did.
definitely.
Yeah,
That's why
I
I'm
like
sitting
that
next
horse
to you,
too,
Ralph.
yeah.
Has a chance, definitely.
Oh, no, now they're jumping on board. Do you hear
McPeak
that?
and Hernandez.
All
McPeak
of a
and Hernandez have been dominating.
Yeah,
lately.
yeah.
You're paying attention.
All right,
you,
gentlemen,
boys.
I really appreciate that. We have to do a show sometime. Just sit here and talk about how the bookmakers got beat because I really enjoyed that.
I'm sure you did. A lot of people like that.
Anyhow, I got to tell you, folks, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the best team of bookmakers in this town, hence the country. No doubt about it. And this
Thank
is a
you,
great
Ralphie.
place to come and
Thank
play the races. They enjoy it. They love horse players and try the matchups too. You'll have a good time. And we'll have Steve on here a little bit later on to talk about the promotions that we have here
Oh, great.
in the South Point as well. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Good job,
All right,
Ralphie.
we're going to take a break. We're a little bit behind time, but on as a satellite with us, we got Dave Tooley, the Track Phantom, next.
From the South Point studio. The perfect blend of sports,
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
comedy,
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
I am beautiful, and a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah. Pittsburgh.
Join Ryan McCormick,
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
and host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
All righty, back on the Race Day Las Vegas South Point special for the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. And we're having some fun here, but we're going to go now satellite-wise to Dave Tooley standing by for us. He is the Track Phantom, and I mean, the horse was named after him as well. Dave, good afternoon.
Hello, but you got me mixed up with Dave Tooley. He's a lot sharper than I am, I can tell you that.
Oh, did I?
Lento.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I say Tooley?
Yeah, I know Dave. He's pretty good.
Well, Dave Tooley's a good guy, too. Anyhow, Dave Valento, I apologize for that, but the horse was named after you, Track Phantom.
Yes, one of the owners, Jerry Karoom, he gets some of my analysis, and we've talked horses over the past. He's one of the leading owners, maybe the leading owner at Oaklawn Park, and one day he called me up and asked if I would mind if he would name the horse. He's part owner with a few other guys. Name the horse after Track Phantom, and I said that would be fine, just as long as he's faster than this one, he would be okay. And never expected him to be in the Derby, I can tell you that, but it's been a lot of fun following him.
Now, that guy, of course, that gentleman is a client of yours, right? He buys your product.
Yeah, yep. He's been a long-time user, and we've talked horses. Usually calls me to talk his horses, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Dave, now I know you're big on doing a lot of stats as far as breeding, etc. What do you see in this Kentucky Derby, before we get to your thoughts about the Kentucky Oaks, but what do you see about the Kentucky Derby that might point out to a horse with a little bit more odds than we've been talking about so far?
Well, I mean, it's funny. In 2022, I spent about 100 hours researching trends and putting together some trend documents. And the only way I would have come up with a winner that year is if my name was Rich Strike. I mean, so looking at trends and back history doesn't always get you there. Every race is, kind of onto itself. But I will say that there is something interesting as it relates to pace. Since 1980, there have been, if you add up all the superfecta slots since 1980, that's 176. Only 30 of those slots were captured by a horse that was either on setting the pace or pressing the pace. That's 17%. And when you figure Baffert probably had half of those, it's really a lot less horses that run up on the pace. Now, horses that have come from the clouds way back, either last, second to last, third to last, they've made up 48% of those superfecta spots since 1980. So not really telling you anything you don't know, but it's tough on front runners, tough on pace horses. Typically, the fractions end up getting fast, and it actually does set up for horses off the pace. And I'll mention one other thing: 16 of the last 19 years, the fourth place finisher it was one of the deepest closures in the race. So not sure how you make money on that, but at least it gives you some directionally correct information.
All right, now that you especially said that because I'm looking. A lot of people are looking at one of the two favorites, Sierra Leone, that's going to be way back and have to pass probably 90% of the field sometime along the race. And he breaks from the inside, so okay, he's going to save ground, but he's clustered down there as far as that's concerned. So you're saying that a horse like that could be good to fill out a trifecta or a superfecta, then, right?
I think Sierra Leone. I think Sierra Leone's the best horse in the race, and I say that even knowing fierceness is in the race. I've watched multiple times all four of his races. He overcame traffic trouble or bias when he lost to Dornoch. That there were 10 races on that card. What was it? The Remsen Stakes. 10 races on the card. 8 of the 10 were won wire to wire by the inside speed, which is the trip that Dornoch had, and the other 2, the winner came from second or third. So it was all speed. He closed from nowhere, and then he lost focus late. So I think Sierra Leone's the best horse. I didn't pick him on top. I thought the value of Honor Marie at 20-1 was too good to pass up. I think they're very close. They're 1 and 1A for me. Both are deep closers, so I'll be looking for some pace to fall apart. And of course, I'll be using Track Phantom as well, but he's going to have to find a different way of running if he's going to be caught up in the pace. I think they're going to try to rate him a bit, and it's unfortunate that they're doing it in the Derby. I would rather seen them do that in the Louisiana Derby, but Sierra Leone and Honor Marie, if one of those two wins, I should do well.
Are you expecting then a pace that would be complementary to their running style?
Well, it typically is. I mean, I think, when you listen to any trainer, any owner, they always say we got to break, we got to get position, we can't get shuffled back. When that happens and you got all the energy and noise surrounding the Derby, a lot of times they can't bring those horses back. They get out, they start running, and all of a sudden you have 3 or 4 horses up on the lead that didn't really want to be there, and the pace ends up being fast. I think that's going to be the same thing. Until I see a year where there's 20 horses and that doesn't happen, then I'll rethink that. But for me, I'm going to look for horses that are going to come from off the pace.
Now, I know you do a lot of extensive work to that, and they can get your sheet. We'll tell them how to get that in a moment. But your thoughts about the Kentucky Oaks tomorrow?
I don't really have a clever opinion tomorrow. I mean, I really do like Torpedo Anna. I know she's going to go off favorite. I thought 5-1 morning line was a little bit of a gift. She dominated in 3 of her 4 races, and in the race that she lost, I think she had a little bit of trouble in that race and still came running on. I think she's got a chance to be a standout type of filly, so I'm going to use her. But beyond her, I think the rest of the field is pretty evenly matched. I will say that I think that the race that was won by, was it Leslie's Rose? What race did she actually take? That was the Ashland. I thought that was kind of a goofy race. He had Just FYI, Candied, and some other horses just didn't run their race. Just FYI ran pretty well, but she was coming off a layoff. So I think that I'm going to kind of draw a line through that race and just figure that was a little bit of a goofy race. I think Just FYI is obviously going to jump up here as well, and then Tarifa has been fantastic as well. So I don't have a lot more to offer there. I think it's pretty obvious on paper for me.
Now, having looked at your product, I know that they're on big race days. You always have one horse out there that you like, especially as a long shot, and maybe you can give that one to us right now for the Derby Day.
Well, I mean, it's beyond the Derby. I mean, obviously, I think you mentioned that Honor Marie is 17-1, which I'm actually surprised. She opened up at 11-1. I thought she might still be getting action, but 17-1. I mean, that obviously she has a great chance, or he has a great chance at those odds at 20-1, anywhere around there.
Yep.
The horse that I made my best bet of the day on the card for Saturday is in the 9th race, the American Turf. Horse by the number 6, Neat. I think it's an extremely difficult race. So many horses can win that race, but I really like this horse. I think that it's going to arch into a good trip or good career best probably in this spot. Had a difficult trip last time out, but still got up to win. Beat 4 of these horses in the race, and the trainer Actress is having a big year. I think that horse sneaky at 6-1. It's the number 6, race 9 on Saturday.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it. Tell everybody how they can get your stuff.
TrackPhantom.com. We'll have the Oaks, the Derby, and then a Santa Anita sheet for Saturday as well.
All right. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I appreciate you accepting my apology for calling you Dave Tooley, but that is Dave Valento.
Okay. He's the one that's going to be insulted by that, I guarantee it.
Well, not so. Both of you guys do great work, that's for sure. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Okay. Thanks, Ralph.
All right, now we're going to go to the other 2 guys that make up the 4 handicappers for our daily show, and that is, of course, Jerry Jackowitz and Rich Eng is with us. And I do believe we could probably get both of those guys on at the same time, huh, Shane? All right. Sean is going to get us all hooked up. Good morning, Richie.
Well, good afternoon to you, Ralph.
Oh, did I say good morning again?
Yeah.
Jeez, Lou.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Jerry.
Good afternoon, Ralph. Great to see you, Rich.
And
we don't get together enough.
And good evening, good evening, everybody else. It doesn't matter. I'm so used to saying good morning to everybody. That's for sure.
Right, back east, they're eating dinner already.
Yeah, and halfway around the world, since we go all over the world with this, somebody is watching us in the morning. But in any case, I'll start with you, Rich, because that's usually the pecking order on the morning show. Taking a look at the Kentucky Oaks for tomorrow, how do you see it?
Well, on my handicapping selection, it was done before the scratch, and the outside horse coming in, Our Pretty Woman. Mm-hmm. But you know what? It didn't really change my top 4 horses selected, because I thought the pace was going to be pretty quick. And Our Pretty Woman, if you look at her racing form PPs, I think she only adds another layer of speed coming from the outside, and she probably is going to have to go with the Joel Rosario. So, the way I looked at the race was if the pace is honest, or maybe even more than honest, my top choice in the race is the 14 Leslie's Rose. It was kind of miraculous, Ralph and Jerry, that she went off at 9-1 last time out. But it shows you the power of how, when people handicap any race, much less a Grade 1 stakes, is that they put too much emphasis on the last race that they just saw. Leslie's Rose, ran 3rd in the Devona Dale as a huge favorite, and got, for whatever reason, did not bring her A game. And all of a sudden she goes off at 9-1 in the Ashland and Keeneland. But if you look at the races before that, this filly was just full of talent, huge overlay. But to me, she's the one to beat. Just FYI is my second choice in the race, the number 13 horse. Bill Mott, if you saw the FanDuel racing coverage, his interview after the race was where the horse was second in the Ashland, was that this horse was not wound tight. Mm-hmm. This horse was, the first race off the layoff, and he felt pretty good that this horse would move forward, and the moving forward is tomorrow in the Kentucky Oaks. So if the champion 2-year-old does what Bill Mott says, and Bill's right an awful lot more than wrong, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Just FYI, will come up with a big game. My third choice in the race was the number 5, Torpedo Anna, and I've heard her name mentioned multiple times on the show already, Ralph. But I saw an interview with Kenny McPeak, who is one of those trainers who is very accommodating to the media, and he's a good friend of yours and mine's, Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good guy. And I saw an interview he did with Torpedo Anna, and he said something that kind of struck me right between the eyes. He said, this is the first filly that if he had the opportunity to run in the Kentucky Derby, he would have loved the opportunity to run her against the boys. That's how much he thinks of Torpedo Anna. When I heard that, I said, wow. So, my recommendation to you folks, even though Torpedo Anna is not my top choice, I think you'd be foolish to leave her out as far as horizontal and vertical wagers, Torpedo Anna. And then my fourth choice was the 11 Ways and Means. I heard both Johns mention that this is their top choice, and certainly, with horses running so few times, only 3 times so far, they have a chance to keep improving, and as they move up the class ladder. And so, that's a horse that I like, and they like even more than I like. But here's one word to the wise, and I didn't have this horse on my listing, Ralph. The horse that beat Ways and Means last time out in the Gulfstream Park race, the Gulfstream Park Oaks, is a horse called Power Squeeze, who's the number 12 horse. Nobody likes this horse, but this horse was good enough to beat a horse that a lot of people like, Ways and Means. So, sometimes we overthink this thing. Mm-hmm. So Power Squeeze might be a horse who would be like a late addition to some of my tickets.
All right. Well, you can see how much work that Richie does. His complete sheet for tomorrow at Churchill and for Kentucky Derby Days found at the racedaylasvegas.com website. And Richie, we will see you in the morning, tomorrow morning, and we will wait for you. And of course, Jerry's thoughts and picks for the Kentucky Derby on our Derby show on Saturday morning. Thanks a lot, Rich.
Hey, thanks. And by the way, while you were talking to Dave Valento, the horse I gave out on the radio this morning, Talking the Nation, ran his eyeballs out, got beat by an inch by Carl Spackler. So that was a tough beat, but he ran a heck of a race.
Well, that's okay because Jon Lindo has a great story about the horse's name. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Thanks a lot, Rich.
Hey,
all right.
We'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, Jerry J, you're up, my man. Look at this. He spruced up and no shirt to broadcast or advertise anything this time.
Well, this is just thought we might try and look a little sharper.
Oh, I see. It's your afternoon. It's your afternoon.
7 in the morning.
Yeah.
At 7 in the morning, whatever I have, I have.
This is how he looks.
I put my hand in the drawer, and it comes on, and the coffee starts to work, and then the next thing you know, the show is on, and I'm. Oh yeah, that's what I have on for you today.
Yeah. Okay. Your thoughts about the Kentucky Oaks?
A little respect. That's all.
Kentucky
My
Oaks.
thoughts.
Yeah. Your thoughts about the Kentucky Oaks?
Well, I think the one thing I was listening to John and John earlier. They commented about what a tight race is, what a tough race it is, and I would like to agree with that. I think there's a lot of ways you can go here. The 4 horses that kind of worked for me were Leslie's Rose, Tarifa, Ways and Means. I don't quite like her as much, but close, and Power Squeeze. So we're all talking the same talk. I think it has a lot to do with odds or maybe how your personal preference on handicapping is. Right. But the one thing that really, the one horse I didn't like was Torpedo Anna that was mentioned. Only because I think she's fully rated. And when I say fully rated is we have speed figures here, and I think she's run really hard, and none of her numbers really match up with any of the others. And for her to be able to compete with these would be a big jump forward. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because we got word from the mouth of the trainer. And I can't think of anything I don't want to hear more than what the trainer has to say about his horse. I have a lot of experience with this over the years. A couple of years ago, I did a seminar with Hank Greenberg, and he started off the seminar with, this was the year Medina Spirit won, and I had him as my play, but I was the third one talking on the dais, and he goes up, I just spoke to Bob Baffert, and Bob Baffert told me Medina Spirit, he doesn't like him at all for tomorrow. So I got it from Hank, may he rest in peace, from Bob Baffert, and it was my turn up. Richie was there with us. And I go, well, I've got him as my top horse, my star horse, Medina Spirit. So I have to go with Medina Spirit. You kind of have to forget about what these trainers say. You just you don't know what the politics are. And I will tell you this for free. If she ran against the Colts tomorrow, she'd get nothing. She's just not that good.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think any of these fillies would get anything against these Colts. So that's yet another story as well. So that's not really a knock on her, but that's sort of a knock on the trainer.
Well, all I can say, Jerry, is, I wish you'd state an opinion once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's never going to happen.
No, never going to happen with you. Anyhow, I thank you for coming out.
I also want to say something about Leslie's Rose that I think really needs to be said, and it has a little bit to do with the Kentucky Derby also. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a shift in the way that Todd Pletcher's preparing his young horses this year. Leslie Rose came out on March 2nd and ran a very even race, not very lively in the Devona Dale. Fierceness came out in his first race, showed a little speed, retired early. It wasn't a question of him not showing up. It wasn't a question of her not showing up. Mm-hmm. I think it's a question that he undertrained them compared to how he used to train horses for their first race out. And what he would do is he would get horses to come out and run 2 big races and come flat come the Kentucky Derby. And I think there's a big shift in the way he's training. And I think for that reason, Leslie Rose is really one of the real competition horses. And her race back on November 19th at Aqueduct was as good as anything Ways and Mees ran earlier in the year, or close to it. Mm-hmm. So these are really developing horses. My knock on Ways and Mees is not really a knock. I just think she ran so hard her last time out. Her upside is a little less coming off that big effort. And so consequently, I'm looking for the advancing horse, the horse that's going to her best race, not the horse that's going to pair her last race. So my highest rated horse is Ways and Means, but I'm sort of on Leslie's Rose or Tarifa, I guess. One of those two will be my play.
All right. You got it, Jerry. Thanks so much. And we will, of course, see you tomorrow morning.
Absolutely.
There you go. Thanks a lot.
Have a great race day, everybody.
Oh, there you are. He said it, but you didn't elongate it. So thanks a lot, Jerry, for that. All right. Listen, when we come back, we've got, this is the fun part now. We got Steve Johnson standing by. You're going to tell us all about the great things that are going to happen here, the racebook director there. And I have Alex White, and she's going to give us a woman's perspective of how she sees the Kentucky Derby. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu. Plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin.
All right, we're back to wrap this up. A little bit longer than we thought, but we always knew it was going to happen because there's such great stories and great handicappers, that's for sure. And so now we have on set the racebook director here at the South Point, Steve Johnson.
Good afternoon.
And a lady who is part of the Sports by the Book show every morning here on the South Point Studios, Alex White. Alex, good morning. Good afternoon. Why do I say
good afternoon?
I keep saying good morning.
Repeated. Thank you for having me.
It's just morning to me. I'm just going to stick around and do the show. I'm just going to lay here and just.
You'll be saying good afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah. In any case, I will start with Alex. Alex, you do a great job handicapping sports. And most of the times when we're talking about handicapping sports, except for the future book bets or advanced bets, is one team or battling another team, no matter what a sport it is. And you don't get great odds by doing that either way. But in horse racing, the odds are so great that you can lose 4 or 5, 6 races and win one race and get all your money back. That's not the case with sports betting, is it?
No, not really. I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, you have to consistently make your bets, and you're right, you're going head to head there, but you want to win about 60% of the time. But
sure.
I mean, if you stay consistent and trust the process, you definitely can make money in sports as well. But I like that angle.
Talking about the process, I know that you handicap sports, but you took it upon yourself, because I asked you to do that, to handicap the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. Now, when doing such handicapping from that type of process to the one that we normally use in horse racing, are there any similarities in it?
I think there's a lot of similarities, actually. And I remember my dad teaching me how to use one of these books years ago. And it seemed really difficult back then. But now that I look at stats and numbers and do this all the time with sports, looking at it, I could read it very easily now. So it was a lot of fun. I feel like I've been missing out a little bit with the horse racing handicapping.
Well, if you pick the Derby winner, we'll have you back.
Very good. No pressure.
In any case, tell them who your father is.
So my father is Kenny White, professional sports bettor. Made the line for Las Vegas for a long time. So.
And by the way, folks, I want to let you know that Alex was one of the 3 line makers that were back in the sports book when they were doing the field for the NCAA basketball championship. And they were making the lines back there as they were doing it. And Alex was one of the participants in that. You guys did a great job.
I appreciate it. One of the best experiences of my life. I'm very grateful to Chris Andrews and Vinny for having me be a part of that team back there. It was really cool.
You give them a good perspective of that. And that's why we want you to talk about the Derby. What do you think?
I'll do my best. Now, I know you've had a lot of really good handicappers on here. So
yeah,
it's
you
tough
would
to
think
follow.
so, yeah.
But so I have 4 horses that I really like, and I am going to do a round robin exacta with those 4.
Okay.
Now, 3 of them you've heard a lot, and I do think Fierceness is going to be the winner. But like I said, I'm going to do that round robin. Looking for 2 closers, and you and my dad had Honor Marie, so I'm going to throw Honor Marie in there. And then also number 2, Sierra Leone. So those 2 as closers. There's a horse, Ralph, that I can't stop looking at, and I talked to you about him earlier, but number 18, Stronghold. I really like this horse. Been in the money all 6 of his races, 3 wins. With the same jockey that he will have. Now, the downside to that is he has never raced in the Kentucky Derby, and we talked about the importance of having an experienced jockey. But I like this consistent horse, and I don't know if this is a bad way to look at it or a good, but next to Fierceness, I think he may be able to hang in there and be at pace with him and have one of them close very close together.
Well, I can tell you this, in witnessing the Santa Anita Derby, this horse was, he just gutted it out. He did not want to lose that race to one of Bob Baffert's horses. And you know what Baffert has as far as his arsenal of 3-year-olds every year in Southern California. And his trainer, Phil D'Amato, is really one of the top trainers coming up, John, as you would attest, that's for sure. And you might have something there, that's for sure. But like, when I say that it's nice to have experience in the race, and this jockey will be the first time in the Kentucky Derby, the balance of that for this particular jockey is he had been racing overseas, and in those fields there, you don't have 6-horse fields. Most of them have the fields the size of the Kentucky Derby.
I like that. Good.
Yeah, so he's got. I think he's got. If he's got the horse, I think he can maneuver. He's a very talented rider.
Now he did move up, and we know everybody is talking about that 17th spot. So now he will be there.
Yeah, she was worried about. Oh, he's 17. He's okay. He's all right. He'll be there. He'll be fine. And tell everybody now about the show that you guys do.
Okay, Sports by the Book every morning, 9 to 10 a.m. from Tuesday through Saturday. Make sure and check, though, with us because closer to football, we will be probably moving back to evenings. So we do shows right before the big games on Monday and Thursday. But right now, consistently mornings, 9 to 10. And then, of course, I'm on Punchlines twice a week with Frank Nicotero. So.
Oh, that's a riot.
It's so much fun.
Frank Nicotero is a riot, folks. You got to. That's for sure. We'll do that promo in just a minute. All right, Steve.
Yes.
You got all this stuff happening here at the South Point.
Correct.
Parties, seminars, special shows, matchups and all that stuff there. When do you get the rest?
Maybe Sunday morning.
Okay. Tell them what you got. Well, naturally, we've got the show here now, but I mean, tell them what you got up for the rest of the weekend.
Starting tomorrow in the Grandview Lounge, 6 p.m. It'll be hosted by yourself, Jon Lindo, Jon Hardoon. We will be having our annual seminar, 6 p.m. Usually you guys will be covering.
We'll cover the Derby and some other key races that these guys like, because we like to make money on any race. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For those that can't be here, you can watch it on our website. All you have to do is just go to southpointracebook.com. There's a link there for the seminar. Just click on that right around 6 p.m. and you'll be able to watch it at the comfort of your own home.
All right. Now, don't do it right now, folks, because that's not activated yet, right? It's going to be activated.
If you click on it, it'll just say not activated till tomorrow at 6 p.m. or something.
All right. So closer to 6 o'clock, if they can't make it, they can activate it and it'll go there.
Exactly.
And we're also having it on the South Point Studios feed as well, this
Correct.
feed that we have here now.
Yeah.
Right, guys? We're all right? Got it in this feed? Okay. And they just go to the South Point Studios page on YouTube and get it? Okay. Good enough. And what about the hat party, pal?
Well, we do have our... Also, every year we have a viewing party up in our grand ballroom. The doors open at 9. It's open to the public, no charge. Usually seats about 800 or so.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Getting a seat won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Like Ralph said, there will be a hat contest. Starts at 2 p.m. We do have about 5 categories, including most elegant, best horse themed, best fascinator, and or fedora, and best overall. For each category, $250 goes to the winner, $100 to second place, and then best overall gets an additional $200.
And up there in the grand ballroom is where they hold the big events, like for the basketball playoffs, the NCAA play, and the Super Bowl and all that stuff there. So it's a really great. And the betting windows?
We'll have 7 live betting windows, where we have 4 kiosks. So if you don't like using a kiosk, we have 7 live writers up there in addition.
And you have advanced betting has already started on.
Actually, yeah, advanced betting's already open. You can bet the whole card starting now. Also, tomorrow night we will be open until midnight.
Wow.
So if you're working a swing shift or something, you won't be able to get in. Bet Saturday. We're here until midnight.
Well, you got to keep it open until after the seminar, because after these guys give them all the winners there, they're going to want to run over and make the bet.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. And and the food and drink prices.
Yeah, there'll be food and drink specials up there. Mint juleps, of course.
And let me see. Let me think of what else. The betting windows. There'll be plenty of betting windows.
Yeah. There. Plus, we'll be open down here in the race book, and we'll have 9 additional betting windows down here.
Now, tomorrow is Kentucky Oaks Day, big day of racing. What time does the book open tomorrow? Because the races start early.
First post at Churchill's is about 7, so we should have somebody ready to go about 7 o'clock. 7:30 is Churchill's first, and we should have somebody ready to go by 7 o'clock.
And ditto for Derby Day.
Correct.
Okay.
Maybe even a little earlier Derby Day.
And you know what? You can park your car in the parking lot for free, too.
That you can.
Yeah. I just wanted everybody to know that.
Or they can have my parking spot, but I might charge them.
Yes. You're going to charge for your spot, but the rest of it is free.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, anything else you want to tell the folks out there? You really got to come out and experience this sometime. They really do a great job here, and they really respect and enjoy horse players. They love horse players here, and they do such a great job here. And I'm so happy to be here in the studio with these guys now, because this is going to be a great deal here, this studio. No doubt about it.
We hope so, and we appreciate it. Hopefully everybody can make it out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that party's anything like the March Madness was, it's a must go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first time going this March, and it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could tell some stories if you want to. I mean, we'll be
no
happy.
stories, just every game on all the projectors. So.
Oh, in addition, up there we'll have 8 big screens, so you shouldn't have a problem seeing the race. That
and I do want to make a point there. Good thing that she mentioned that because 8 games. But if people come here and they want to experience and play the Kentucky Derby, but they happen to be a fan of any other racetrack that's running that day, you're going to have smaller TV sets up there that they can watch those signals and bet those races too.
Yeah, we'll have 4 multi-view screens up there, so we'll have like Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Santa Anita, Woodbine, the major tracks in addition to Churchill.
Good enough. Well, I really appreciate you guys doing all this stuff. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up for you.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. Every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
All right. We do want to remind you about all the great shows that are on here as well. The Punchlines with Frank Nicotero. You got to watch that show. It is an absolute riot. It'll make your day go great right in the middle of the day. And then, of course, after that, we have Gone Racing, I believe. Yes, Gone Racing there on Thursdays, talking all about the great sport under the hood rather than under the hide. And then finally, without a doubt, the Sports by the Book. And, of course, that's with Alex and Jeff as well, talking all about the great stuff in betting and handicapping the games each and every day. And 3 great shows here. And, of course, we have the race day shows in the morning. I'm losing my voice, gentlemen and lady, but I want to thank everybody very much. And by the way, there's our logo. We're here Wednesday through Sunday at 7 a.m. Hope you'll join us tomorrow morning for Kentucky Oaks Day. We'll start our Kentucky Oaks Day with our guys here. John and Jonathan, of course, Richie and Jerry as well. And of course, we want to thank Gino for being on the show today, and all you guys, Steve and Alex and everybody else. Like I said, I'm losing my voice, but in any case, I want to just remind everybody. I just want to remind everybody that they do a great job here. And if you have an opportunity to come out and enjoy the seminar tomorrow night, enjoy the Kentucky Derby with us in the ballroom. And these shows don't happen just by us in front of the camera. I want to thank all of the crew behind there that makes it happen. Ann and Sean and Jerry and Ryan and Caden and Andrew. They do a great job, and we hope you enjoyed the show. And I wish I had a little bit of better voice to continue talking, but that's it, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.